Bolts fans, it's time now for tonight's ceremonial puck drop. And this evening we're joined by a brave young fighter, a former junior Solar Bears kid captain, and a current Tampa Bay Crunch player, Apollo Sudbury. Last year at the age of 12, Apollo was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer, and after several treatments earlier this year, he received his first scan showing no evidence of cancer. Both fans, please welcome Apollo Sudbury. And if we can please have the starting centers to the north end of the ice, please. Bolts Nation, give it up for Apollo Sudbury.
And with that, we are ready for hockey, preseason hockey tonight in downtown Orlando. Dave Randorf with you, along with Brian Engblom and Gabby Shirley. As Zemgus Girgensons and the Tampa Bay Lightning are 4-0 so far in the preseason, and this evening they take on their in-state rival, the Florida Panthers. They will meet the next 3 preseason games to wrap up each one of their respective schedules. Brian.
It's marvelous when these two teams play against each other. I love it. 3 times in a row, we couldn't ask for anything more. There'll be some fireworks.
And we are underway here as the puck is dumped in, and Jonas Johansson, the starter tonight for the Lightning, stops it back of his own net. Panthers played last night. They went in overtime at home against the Carolina Hurricanes. They've got a very inexperienced lineup in terms of NHL games anyway. Tyler Mott is number 14 out there. He's in the starting lineup for Florida. They have taken a penalty. Starting lines, we should tell you, sponsored by Advent Health. And here comes the first power play of the game. A high sticking call is coming up.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few penalties in this game along the way, whether it's high sticking or tripping or the usual stuff, or some of the others as well. Last year we had a game here, went crazy.
Florida number 44, 2 minutes, high sticking.
There were penalties, there were goals scored, there was everything, and there's the first penalty of the game. It's Mackenzie Entwistle, so the Lightning will go to town on the power play early on in this one.
And the Lightning power play sponsored by attorney Dan Newland. And you're right, an opportunity early for a lot of guys to get some touches with a man advantage. Darren Radish is back to retrieve it. He's got Geekie out there with Gonzalez and Jacob Pelche and Oliver Bjorkstrand. Jacob Pelche is wearing number 12 for the Lightning. He's got the puck right now. A signing for the Lightning in the offseason. A former first-round draft pick of the Calgary Flames. Played last year with Calgary and Philadelphia and is trying to win himself a spot here with the Lightning to start the season.
Yeah, they'll try to work some quick magic here. These guys are not used to playing with each other.
Quick shot and a save made by Brendan Bussey for the Panthers.
Getting the puck in the middle, that's the main story here. Bjorkstrand with the most experience there, and what a shot he's got. There's an example right there.
Yeah, it comes off his stick with some force, doesn't it? That snapshot hit Bussey up high. Here's Gonzalez, digs it out for Radish. The one-touch near side for Bjorkstrand. He tried to feather one through, but it could not get past Livingstone. And the Lightning continue to set things up. Bjorkstrand back to the point. Shot on the way from Radish, deflected wide. Pelche, back of the net, being watched. Nice backhand feed. Bjorkstrand with a stop, and Bussey was ready for that one. Makes the save. No rebound.
Yeah, some good puck movement there. Nice job by the Lightning getting some shots early. We saw Bjorkstrand, then we saw Radish from the point. That's the way to loosen things up. Play from behind the net. Nice little play, and then a backhand pass by Gonzalez. He knew exactly where his teammate was going to be. This is a no-looker. He just has to make sure he gets it across there. That's a difficult one to really one-time, but it shows you actually the good hands that Bjorkstrand does have, because he just had to snap that one. There's no chance for a one-timer. So Lightning with some effective puck movement and a couple of good shots early on in the power play.
And a second unit comes out here to take this face-off is Mitchell Chafee. He was waved in after Wojtek Stachowiak, who's got the puck now, he was waved out. Stachowiak had a 2-goal game his last outing last week at home at Benchmark International Arena. Up top, Moser with a drive, and that one goes wide. Rebound picked up by Chafee. Lightning with some great possession here. Another penalty coming up against Florida. Still 22 seconds remaining in the initial call to Entwistle, and here comes another call here, and this one's going to go to Dylan Duke.
Yeah, Dylan Duke's going for high sticking, so that will even things up. In the interim, 22 seconds to go here on the Florida penalty, excuse me.
So we'll have some 4-on-4 here. The Florida Panthers have gone to the Stanley Cup Final 3 consecutive seasons, and they've won the last 2, as we all know. We had a chance to talk to their head coach about how he has approached this training camp, resting some of the big guys after long stretches that this coach knows about. He went to 3 straight Cup finals as well.
Yeah, they had a separate camp for their main guys and the new guys, just trying to give their guys that won cups and gone so deep the last 3 years some extra time working on their own before they made one big camp out of it.
Yeah, Paul Maurice has been dealt a tough hand right off the bat, Brian. He already knew he was going to be without Matthew Tkachuk until probably around Christmas, and then a devastating injury last week at practice. Their captain, Alexander Barkov, required knee surgery in both his ACL and MCL, out for the season.
Yeah, we'll show you a clip of that later on. Paul Maurice has been around for a while now. I remember when he came in and he was the youngest coach in the league. Now he's creeping up on Scotty Bowman. He's 211 games away from Scotty Bowman coaching regular season games all time. 28th year in the league for Paul Maurice.
Number 97 for Florida's Kai Schwint, and he lost that faceoff to Jack Finley. A lot of eyes on Jack Finley here. Can he make this team out of camp? 6'6", second-round pick in 2020. Chafee down the ice, throws it back across the grade. Lilleberg was up in the play, but the Lightning get the puck back, and backing up is Max Crozier.
The thing about getting penalties early on is it throws out the rhythm. Players are out there trying to get their lines going, get some rhythm going. So it chops things up a little bit, especially for the guys who aren't killing penalties or on the power play.
So power play now in effect for Florida, and this is Mott trying to turn the corner. Mott was a member of the Lightning a couple of seasons ago. He was with Detroit last season. There's an opportunity for a guy like Mott. He's a seasoned vet. He's played about 450 games, which is tonight by far the most in this Florida lineup.
Yeah, Tyler Mott's a good guy to have on your list, and I think he's going to stick with this team. He's been in a lot of organizations for a reason, and good on him. Play as long as you can, because when it's over for a really long time.
Yes, it is. And you know what? For his role here with the Lightning, I thought he did a good job.
He did. Yep.
He's not a big guy, but he plays with a real bite and pop, physical pop to his game.
Yeah, he can kill penalties. He knows how to get out there when the score is tight. He knows how to play the game the right way, and that's valuable.
Hard clear by the Lightning down the ice with just 20 seconds remaining in the high sticking call against Dylan Duke. Here comes Noah Gregor, another veteran trying to land himself a job. He's here in a PTO. There's a couple of guys with Florida in that situation. Gregor turns the corner, drifts a wrist shot, and then flies over the crossbar. A lot of traffic in front of Johansson as Duke steps out of the box. So both teams have had a power play. Both teams have come up empty. Just about 4 minutes gone here in this first period in Orlando tonight. Back to the line. Long shot into traffic. Initial save is made, and there's McAllister with a drive and a kick save made by Johansson on a broken play. Allshirt at the near point, pressured. McAllister helps out for Florida and gets it deep. Here comes Stachowiak to try to dig that one out. Duke is down there as well. And the puck comes free for Emil Lilleberg. Lightning reset. Crozier played 5 games in the NHL last season. he's got his eyes, Brian, on a lot more this season.
Yeah, no doubt about that. There are some spots open. This Lightning team has all the key positions filled from the same way they have over the last several years, and they will be a contender again. But still, there are 1 or 2 spots open, maybe on defense, fourth line center for sure.
Long shot blocked, and now it's a race. Geekie trying to pull away. He's got a couple of guys chasing him, and he was caught by Trevor Carrick. Carrick with that long stick there knocked it away from Geekie. Pelche, good job protecting the puck, spun it back. He got it away to Roman Schmidt, and Schmidt's pass up the ice ends up on the stick there of Colton Heward. And now here comes Florida up through center. A Lightning player slow to get up there over near the bench. That was Boris Tkachuk, but he's back up in the play.
I'm not sure he even wanted to block that one, but it crippled him for a second. You can't feel your leg. He's able to get up and get going again.
Tkachuk in his second tour of duty with the Tampa Bay Lightning organization. He was traded away to Chicago by the Lightning in the Brandon Hagel deal. Slapped in by J.J. Moser. Alser was back to get it, first to get it, and he outlets to Tyler Mott. Mott up ahead to another veteran, Morgan Entwistle, another former Chicago Blackhawk. We are probably going to see a lot more of the regular guys the final 2 meetings.
No doubt about that. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. And this is Schmidt. We expected this. Roman Schmidt was in this lineup tonight to do this. And he's got a hold of Noah Gregor. Gregor's a veteran. He's nowhere near as big as Schmidt. And Schmidt's coming over the top.
Yeah, Schmidt's got the reach. He's got some power. He's not shot. When I talked to him a few days ago, he said, yeah, I like it. I have no problem doing this. And there's a spot for him on the Lightning. They don't have a lot of real big size when it comes to that. And, you know, playing the physical game, dropping the mitts, which is still a necessity at times, especially when you play against this team, because over the last 5-6 years, every time they play against each other, stuff happens.
Tampa, 5 each, fighting.
So Schmidt and Gregor drop the gloves, 5 for fighting each, and we are underway. Hey, it's Florida Tampa Bay. What did you expect?
Did you know that the new bill?
Schmidt and Noah Gregor in the penalty box duking it out there. I like how Schmidt handled himself here. He's going to take him out along the wall. There's a little pushing and shoving, which is usual, and then he waits for a bit. Earlier on in games, there was a few opportunities where Schmidt came in right away and dropped the mitts so quick. He came from distance with the mitts already on the ice. He ended up getting the extra penalty. He has talked about that a little bit, and now he's going to be a little bit more patient and make sure he doesn't get those extra 2 minutes. He did not do that. I like the way he did that there, and he's more than willing to do what he did when it comes to dropping the mitts.
6'5", Roman Schmidt. He's 22 now. He was a third-round pick in 2021. So he's been around the organization, Brian, for a little while. And he's starting to really make a physical impression. John Cooper telling Gabby Shirley that he brought a real mean streak to camp. He brought a mean streak to the rookie tournament, too. He got him to scrap up at Wesley Chapel as well.
Yeah, and when you're 6'5", 6'6", and you've got weight behind you, you're expected to do at least some of that stuff. And he's not shy, and that's good. And the coaching staff has helped him in that department. The fact that he is more than willing to do it, sometimes the big guys don't want to do it, and that's where the rub comes in between the player and the coaching staff. Not so here.
Having said that, Schmidt is not the biggest guy in this game. That is Brent Chorsky, number 45 for Florida, 6'7". The son of Tom Chorsky, former NHLer. Here's Finley. He's no slouch at 6'6". Dylan Duke up there in the forecheck, buzzing around as he often does. Carlisle lost his helmet, immediately has to go back to the bench. That shot through traffic, deflected wide of Brandon Bussey. Pass cut off by Chorsky. Chorsky with the outlets up ahead to Vilmanis. Sandis Vilmanis, nice little pass into traffic. He goes to the net and it's steered aside by Johansson. Number 25 for Florida is Nolan Foote. He's originally a first-round draft pick of the Lightning. Was traded away several years ago to the New Jersey Devils in a deal that brought Blake Coleman back to Tampa Bay. At center, Radish stands up his man Schwint, and the puck rolls in behind the Lightning goal. Now into the corner. Up through center, tipped away by Stachowiak. Here's Marek Alscher, immediately decked there by Scott Sabourin. Now Schwint tries his luck down the left side. In behind the net is McAllister, given the business by Lilleberg. Penalty call coming up against Florida. It's going to be another power play for Tampa Bay as Radish was tripped up. And now he'll gather the puck with the extra attacker hitting the ice. Radish up the middle, trying to find Abruzzese on the fly. And he will fly down there out in front. Big chance for Sabourin. And he got in tight. Couldn't get a good shot away against Bussy.
Abruzzese smart to get on the puck, but turn around a look made a really good play for Sabourin to have that chance.
Stachowiak into the corner for Nick Abruzzese, and Florida with a touch-up, and the call is going to be made.
Yeah, Ryan McAllister, I think, is the culprit who's going to end up going to the penalty box. He was on the forecheck.
76, 2 minutes, tripping.
Got a stick underneath the skates, and so it'll cost him a couple of minutes there. There he is. He turns around. He catches Radish. Pretty easy call with the referee about 4 feet away. So again, the power play, Lightning off to a good start on their first one. Shooting, keeping it simple. None of the big guys that are normally on the Lightning power play are in this game. So therefore, you're not going to have a whole lot of chemistry. Keep it simple. And for Paul Maurice's guys, he's just looking for those gutsy plays like that, getting in the way and blocking shots.
Mott down the ice. He's been a good penalty killer in his career, and he starts this penalty kill along with Morgan Entwistle, forcing Tampa Bay all the way down the ice, and back in over the line goes Gage Gonzalez. Geekie surrounded by a couple of Panthers here. 30 seconds gone in the power play as they try to get things set up. Bjorkstrand fighting for position. It's taken away by Trevor Carrick, and he sends this one down.
Florida doing a good job just keeping the puck on the wall there, not letting it out, not letting Geekie get anything going.
New unit comes out here for John Cooper. He'll try to get these guys some extra touches, a little bit more time than they got in the first power play. And that is not a clean entry. Offside at the line.
Here's a look at Mitchell Chaffee, who is very well aware that the left side on the power play could be his at least from time to time. He's a right-hand shot. He can hammer the puck. He spent the entire summer in Tampa working with Kucherov and Alex Killorn, who came back, former Tampa Bay Lightning, and he really helped out Chaffee a lot. He's had a lot of conversations with him about technique, about where to be, about thought process, 5-on-5 and on the power play. And so for Chaffee, that was really valuable information from two terrific players.
Abruzzese had to reach back to reset and gather that puck, and he manages to get that puck in deep. Back to retrieve it and slap it around the boards was Livingstone, but we got another penalty call here. This is going to be interference, obviously.
Yeah, it's Steves. Steves ends up tripping, so they've had, what, 3 tripping penalties already early on in the first period. Stachowiak was just trying to get in on the forecheck, and this is not the way Florida wants to start. For the Lightning, though, got to start to
73, minor penalty, interference.
Make some inroads here, get some more pucks to the net. That is not the Florida players bench. There's the penalty. Yeah, those needless ones from not moving your feet. Those are the ones coaches don't like.
So whether these guys have chemistry or not, there's a lot of open ice, a lot of skill out there with Peltier and Geekie, and certainly Bjorkstrand, Gonzalez, and Radish. And they want to try to take advantage here in this 5-on-3 for 35 seconds. Still remaining in the initial call against Florida. And they start with a face-off win and control of the puck. Gonzalez back to Darren Radish. Darren Radish shoots, scores! Power play goal, and and they will still be on the power play after Bjorkstrand opens it up with a tip. 1-0 Tampa Bay.
He's got the hands and the eye-hand coordination, but how about the shot by that guy? And that could easily, I think, have been his goal all along. Look at him take his time there. He has lots of room. He gets it in a smart place. Watch him decide where to shoot the puck. And this is important for Bjorkstrand. Bjorkstrand opens himself up. He's screening, but at the same time, he has a stick available. Radish scored a beautiful goal a couple of games ago, moving in from the point. And Darren Radish can really bring it, both with the slap shot and the wrist shot. And it was he who really started that play.
Bjorkstrand finished last season with 21 goals, 5 of them with the Lightning after the trade coming over from Seattle. But he suffered a gruesome injury right at the end of the regular season. Did not play in the playoffs, but he's good to go, and he scored a couple of times here in the preseason, which is a great sign for Tampa Bay. And he's got the puck again. Radish, near side, Geekie. Geekie, Radish, his shot, rebound in front. Is on the backhand there for Gonzalez.
And that hit Pelche in front. It didn't feel very good either. He's trying to get out of the way. Now Pelche's going to limp off. That was a rocket from the point.
Now Darren Radish, he can get it up over 100 miles an hour. We've seen that on a few occasions from him. This is Nick Abruzzese, former property of the Toronto Maple Leafs, now trying to win a regular spot here with the Lightning. Chafee feeds the puck down low. Stachowiak back up top to Moser. The dish, the shot, and it's deflected wide. This one comes to the point for Moser. Near side. Stachowiak give and go, and not the shot he was looking for as it goes wide. Duke, Stachowiak back in front, backdoor, Bussy down, and Chafee just couldn't finish on the open side.
Duke and Stachowiak there getting some real chemistry, really nice plays there, and Stachowiak trying to get it to Chafee right at the net. Really good puck movement.
Moser now. He'll wrist it towards the net, then it's blocked in front by Marek Olsher. And controlled by Florida. Chance to clear it and finish off this penalty kill, which is now over. Steeves is out of the box. And the Lightning get 1 on the power play at a 5-on-3. 1-0 in the goal by Bjorkstrand. 7.5 to go here in this first period. Next game is Thursday night at Benchmark International Arena. Same two teams. And we'll be back on the air on Script Sports for that one for you. Starting at 7. We've got all the preseason action right up until the regular games begin, which is October 9th. Home opener against Ottawa.
Lightning with good movement in their defensive zone and defense in front of the net, really boxing out well, being active, not waiting until the puck gets to the front of the net. Make sure you got your guy before it gets there. Good stop.
Chip forward just out of the reach of Girgensons. Girgensons had a 2-goal game his last time out. He had 2 goals all the last season. Sure, the boys were ribbing him a little bit about that explosive offensive output.
And he showed a quick stick, especially the second goal he scored in that game on his own rebound, following it up, and just stayed with the puck. Really good for Zemgus Girgensons. He's due to score better this year than last year, no doubt.
No doubt about it. He's way better than 2 goals on the season.
Sure.
It just wouldn't go in for him at times. Long stretches. Snapped in by Lilleberg around the boards. Colton Heward is over there. He took a big check along the side wall by Boris Kachuk, and now Sabourin causes a collision right in front of the Lightning bench.
Yeah, that'll get the attention. That's good stuff for Sabourin, too. Just playing the body, not coming back and fishing for the puck. He took his man right out in the neutral zone.
Sabourin's been around. He's 33 years of age. He's played a long time in the American League, a little bit in the NHL. Here's a shot on the way. Never got through off the stick of Crozier. He really wound up for that one. Banked down and picked up by J.J. Moser. Puck is picked up by Jacob Pelche. Pelche has got a goal in the preseason in Nashville. Tap back up the ice. This is Wilmer Skog from Stockholm, wearing number 32. Out in front of Skog, scores! Wilmer Skog ties the game, and it's 1-1.
The Lightning were getting back in recovery. Moser moved up on the right-hand side, and he was well up above the blue line. That means their defenseman is out of position, which means you need support by your forwards coming back to help Jonas Johansson. And it kind of went sideways after that. They got there, but you can see number 90 is not getting back in there. Gonsalves gets there. I thought he was there for a second. Gonsalves is reading the situation. He did make the first play. I think that went off of his skate because Scoob was checked. I thought I saw that right the first time. Scoob never really shot that one in, I don't think. He was checked by Gonsalves, and then it, I don't know, went off a leg or something and fooled Johansson.
Scoob played at Boston University. He's played the last couple of years in the American League. As mentioned, he is from Sweden, and there's a big goal for him in this preseason game. A lot of these guys know there's not a lot of spots available on the Florida Panthers this season. The team that has won back-to-back cups, and Paul Maurice was talking about how a lot of guys know they are going to be going back to the American League and Charlotte, but they still want to make impressions. Here's Schmidt. He's been in a fight tonight. In behind the net, Hovorka works on the ball where it's held by Roman Schmidt. Quickly across, Carlisle. Long shot into the glove of Bussey, and he will hold on. So a couple of goals here so far tonight in Orlando. This one on the power play. The tip in front by Oliver Bjorkstrand. 1-1.
One more look at that goal. He'll come back to the front of the net to cover up. He lifts Scoob's stick, does the job. But when he puts the brakes on, the puck goes off his heel, and it fools Jonas Johansson. It's a changeup. It hits the ice right between Johansson's pads, so it's actually going to be a goal for Mackenzie Entwistle, who was the last to touch it on the pass out. Now, those things happen to a goaltender. It's not the way you want to start, but the point of the play was that Gonsalves came back and did what he was supposed to do in covering up for his defenseman. If your defense is going to be aggressive, you have to have support underneath. Gonsalves came back with that support and got a bad break.
This is the third game in the net for Jonas Johansson. By the way, Andrei Vasilevsky has skated the last couple of days back in Tampa. Yeah, he's been off the ice for the start of training camp, but he's been back out there the last couple of days, and that is definitely good news. It's a tie game here, just over 4 minutes remaining in the first period. Florida works it down the ice. Now the puck battle ensues in the corner. Carlisle is over there. In comes Boris Tkachuk. And the Lightning take over possession. Clearing attempt goes off a stick, but does get out. And sent back in by Vilmanis. Hardbank skips down the ice. Here's Zemgus Girgensons in front. Tkachuk, Bussey down, and he makes the save. Puck is still loose. Finally a whistle. And Chaffee's tangled up.
Yeah, the tangling and untangling is going to happen repeatedly in this game. Really nice work by the Lightning coming out of their zone. And Zemgus Girgensons again. You stretch the defenders out. They get a good bounce for sure, but look at Girgensons. And then look at him control this play. That is simply outstanding. Control, bring the defenseman with you. Heward, he feels where the stick is, so he spins around the opposite direction. Tkachuk's coming in with quite a bit of speed. It looked like he had a change of mind there of what he wanted to do. Tkachuk, that is, but it was Girgensons who made a heck of a play. You mentioned the 2 goals that he scored last game out, Dave. Heck of a job. He's really shown some really good hands in these preseason games to start things off. A real confidence booster for him after last year.
Face off to the right to the Florida Panther net. And it's controlled by Florida up the wall, knocked down. Everybody digging for that thing, and it comes free for Foot, and Foot flips it up and out. Nolan Foot, whose father Adam is going to be behind the Vancouver Canucks bench this year. First time NHL head coach. And of course his brother Cal used to play for the Lightning. This one goes down the ice. There is Radish. Tampa Bay keeping Florida to the outside. Now it's sent back to the line. Benning loads and fires. That is off the leg of Sabarin. Chipped into the corner where Radish is going to play it up forward for Stachowiak. And Wojtek will reset it back to Darren Radish.
Benning took that shot from the point for Florida. He's been one of the more active D-men. He's not a very big guy, but he's very active, got good feet, shoots the puck. He's got a couple of points already in the preseason.
Yeah, he's a fourth rounder. He was a NCAA champion and the Frozen Four MVP the year they won it.
Yeah, he's got a history. His problem is he doesn't have much size, and that works against you in the NHL. He's 5'9", 177.
Florida out of their own zone with a little pace. It's flipped in there by Jack Studnicka. Studnicka, number 53. He's played about 100 games in the NHL. He scored the overtime winner for Florida last night against Carolina. This one's flipped back. Under 2 minutes to go here in the first. These two teams, Brian, will meet 4 times in the regular season. Can't wait for each and every one of them. The first one is in mid-November.
It doesn't matter what time of year, now in the preseason or in May, these two teams go at it, especially when the guys on each team who have been playing against each other for years, there is a pure hatred between them, and that's why we love to watch these two teams play.
Yeah, and the rivalry has gone to the different levels since the playoff meetings. There's been 2 of them. And, of course, that includes last year, the Florida Panthers beating the Lightning in the first round in 5 games.
Whoever wins, wins the cup.
Yeah, that's the way it's been the last several times they've met. Up into the middle, off the stick of Gonzalez, gathers it, shoots right on, and Bussey makes the save and it covers up. We got 1:02 to go here in the first period, and we're deadlocked at 1, Tampa Bay and Florida on Scripps Sports. Back to live action here, just under 1 minute to go here. Things are getting testy between Tampa Bay and Florida. Tkachuk had to go back for a little equipment repair. And
I like Boris Tkachuk. He's got experience now. Tkachuk's 27 years old and has been around the block a little bit. He will stick his nose in there. He's got good hands. He's not a real goal scorer, but he's a guy that they can count on at both ends of the ice. And I expect he'll be in Syracuse to start, but you never know along the way with injuries. You want to be that first guy to get called up.
He's made some impressions here in this preseason, has he not?
Yep.
There's a long shot handled by Bussey, and there is no rebound. All right, we will take another quick television timeout with 35 seconds remaining here in Orlando.
I was involved in a very bad motorcycle accident. Called attorney Dan Newton.
Back to live action. Puck just dropped and it's flipped out to center. Knocked away from Florida. Schwinn follows up and it's controlled by the Lightning. Bussey out of his net, plays this one around. There is Tkachuk. Now Chaffee trying to shake the defenseman. Watching him closely. This is Radish. Throws it across. Moser pulls it back, lets it go. It is blocked. Comes free for Radish. 1 second to go, and they are going to run out of time. One last shot by Chaffee. Not sure that would have been a buzzer beater or not. Doesn't matter. It is 1-1. Jonas Johansson and the Tampa Bay Lightning deadlocked after 20 minutes here at the Kia Center in Orlando. Let's take you back to our studios back in Tampa Bay and your host, Paul Kennedy. 20 minutes here in Orlando. The first period stats are sponsored by Stone Pro Window and Door, and there are the goals. One of them on the power play scored by Bjorkstrand, his second of the preseason, and then Mackenzie Entwistle banked one off of Gonzalez and into the net, and we're tied at 1. Dave Brandar back with you along with Brian Engblom. So Bjorkstrand gets a goal. Gonzalez gets an assist on that power play goal. Let's kind of focus in on those two guys for right now.
Yeah, Gonzalez unfortunately got a goal too, went off his foot and into the wrong net. But I like the way Gonzalez played. Look, he played a lot with Cirelli and Hagel last year, and he showed the energy and the smarts to do that. Gonzalez was the only rookie to play regularly for the Lightning last year. 6 rookies played for the Lightning, but Gonzalez played over 60 games. And then there's Bjorkstrand, who got traded at the deadline with Yanni Gourde, and then of course got hurt at the very end of the year. A very major injury. Dave, you referred to it in the first period. He had that compartment syndrome where his leg literally blew up after he got kneed in the middle of the night surgery, emergency surgery. So he was out for the playoffs, and he's recovered fully. And I just really like the way he plays. I think Bjorkstrand is going to have a heck of a year this year because he is so good on the power play. The Lightning power play is so good by itself, and he has a chance to really do something this year. So those two guys made an impression in the first period here also.
Those are the numbers for Bjorkstrand from last season. 4 consecutive 20-goal seasons from Oliver Bjorkstrand. So you can kind of pencil that in for this season as he's really got the knack to find the back of the net. So we're underway here in the second period. This puck is controlled now by Tampa Bay and Crozier. He'll whip it across to Emil Lilleberg. Lilleberg, who became a regular last year, the Norwegian-born defenseman, went to the World Championship after the season ended in the NHL.
And Lily put some weight on this off-season too. I mean, you can tell he was working out. He is really ripped this year.
Bad news for offensive players coming in on him because he's already a physical force out there. Oh, there's a kick save and a redirect right in front of Bussey. That is knocked down the ice, and Devine is not going to get there in time. We have an icing call against Florida. And now a word from Weather Tights Mike.
Genius.
I mentioned the 6 rookies that the Lightning had at least played 1 game last year. You know, the Florida Panthers only had 2 rookies play all year, and Justin Sourdif only played 1 game. The rest was all Maki Samoskevich. Only 2 rookies played for Florida last year.
Veteran-laden squad, and the veterans showed up when it mattered most, didn't they?
Yeah, well, and the trades they made at the deadline, of course, helped put them over the top. A very experienced team, and being a Stanley Cup defender, some of these young guys have got to be thinking, okay, I'll play my preseason games, but what are my chances here? But Paul Maurice is waiting for somebody to really pop up, step forward, like show me you got something, because there's always a spot somewhere, even on the most veteran-laden team.
A big part of their success in the playoffs for Florida was their third line that had Anton Lundell at center. As they move in, Studnicka shot goes wide. There's a lot of talk now that Lundell may move off that line in the absence of Barkov now, so we'll see how he rearranges things going forward.
Yeah, unfortunate to say the least. I mean, I hate to see anybody in any sport go down with such a serious injury that wipes out your entire season.
Pass back with a shot from Livingstone, did not get through, and the Lightning carry it out. Dumped down the ice by Radish. Bussey of his net plays it around the boards. Squeezing along the sidewall was Dylan Duke, who got into a couple of NHL games last season and scored a goal
On his first shot in Detroit.
in his hometown. Yeah, here he comes again. Leads it in front, and Jeff Finley just couldn't finish on the tap in. Fired it wide. Moser puts one off the stick of Steves, and Benning banks that one out. Connor Geekie is back. The forward makes a defensive play there.
Yeah, good stick.
Gonzalez to Bjorkstrand, waits for late help, hangs on, drops it up to Geekie, and he had it roll off of his stick.
That's the second time the no-look backhand pass by Gonzalez has been the right play at the right time.
Geekie trying to line up big Brett Chorsky, but the big guy got the better of that collision. Here comes Florida again, and once again, Geekie is back. Shoveled in towards Johansson. He got the stick and pad down and steered that into the corner. Geekie along the end boards. Lilleberg is there as well, and away comes Tampa Bay. That's Crozier. Up the wall to Gonzalez. Rink wide, he goes, and they'll step in. Bjorkstrand again. Gets it back, and they don't really get a shot as both he and Geekie were up in the play, but Bussy's got the puck.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez is going to say, sorry, buddy, I didn't get the puck there to you at the right time. But here's the Lightning doing a good job of turning the puck over, getting the pucks in the neutral zone, and then Gonzalez with a nice backhand pass. They turn it over, catch Florida with too many guys up. The pass to the front of the net by Finley just couldn't quite get enough wood on it. And then there's Bjorkstrand going. He's trying to help out Connor Geekie so much. He wants to make that pass so badly, and it just didn't turn out like it.
14 goals for Finley last year in the American League in just 40 games. 14 and 28 points total. He's got real good spirits, does Finley, despite all the injuries. He talks about it openly and just says, I just hope it's all behind me, and I know my body real well now. And I've been through all the adversity. Let's hope it's all out of the way now.
It just hurts the development so much because he's one of those guys, 23, 24-year-olds that got hurt by COVID too. That COVID year where they didn't play many games on top of it.
And whistle, backdoor feed to Gregor. He got in sights and couldn't take the shot. Now Studnicka in towards the net. He's checked there by Schmidt. Jack Studnicka comes away with the puck, try to spin it back towards the net. Studnicka, originally a second rounder from the Boston Bruins. This one's left in the corner for Stachowiak. He got there, intercepted it, and got it deep where it's reacquired by Benning and the Panthers. Mike Benning up the ice, 23 years of age. We talked about him. He's from Edmonton. And that puck is turned over by the back-checking Tkachuk. Tkachuk up to Sabourin. Sabourin slides past the check. Little toe drag, flips it out in front. Rebound available. Girgensons can't find the opening as Bussy somehow got the equipment in the way, and he's got the puck.
How about Sabourin there schooling Trevor Carrick, the defenseman there. Nice job. Little toe drag. This is the move at the very end, getting the puck to the front of the net. Tkachuk going to the front. Boys in the studio were talking about this line and how they get to the front of the net. Sabourin's had a really good game. Played physical at the right times in the first period, and a couple of nice moves there.
And Tkachuk is going to be waved out. In comes Zemgus Girgensons to take this face-off. Facing off against Chorsky. Puck in the corner and then lifted out by the Panthers. Not enough for icing. Radish got there. Havorka trapped into the line. Puck rolls away from foot, supported there by Ulsher. Ulsher who's picked up an assist on the Florida goal. Scored by Entwistle. The other assist going to Skoog. Zemgus Girgensons, who had just had that chance there, that scramble in front of the Panthers net, loads it back to the line. Radish into the slot. Tkachuk turns and shoots. Got a good snapshot away. And Bussy makes the stop. Tkachuk to the point. Moser across. Calls back for it again. J.J. Moser with a drive. Bussy saw that all the way.
Good puck movement by the Lightning. They have done a good job in the offensive zone all night. That one's just offside. Tkachuk in his last shift out there did a really nice job spinning around and getting that shot away quickly. Not easy to do. There he is, top of your screen. Make yourself available, but now he's got to spin. Cradles the puck. See how he turns his feet to the outside, gets his body ready, and he snapped that one. That's super slow-mo, so you don't get an appreciation of how quick the shot came off his stick. But some good hands shown there by Boris Tkachuk.
Now there are the numbers. He was 20 goal scorer last year in the American League. Second on the team in Wilkes-Barre Scranton. And people forget this guy was a mid-second round pick. He never really clicked with the Lightning his first time around.
It was early in his career.
It was, and I see a different player here than the one we watched for the time that he was with the Lightning.
Yeah, and then he went to Chicago in the Brandon Hagel trade. And things just didn't work out for him there. I thought he'd get more ice time there, but it didn't turn out the way he wanted. So for Tkachuk, it's been a couple of years of sort of start and go, and looks like he's off to a good start now.
13:58 remaining here in the second period. It's all tied up in Orlando, the Kia Center. You're watching Lightning Hockey on Script Sports.
We've mentioned the Sasha Barkov injury. So unfortunate. Here's a look at what happened. It's in practice the other day. It just, just really a nothing play. His skates give out. His teammate lands on top of him, and this is the result. I mean, he can't put any weight on. They had big-time surgery. He is out for the entire season, and we wish him well. So on top of that, Tkachuk, who's going to be out until December sometime. Two of their best players, two of their most important forwards, and then a couple of guys who have just moved on. Nate Schmidt's no longer with the team. Nico Sturm is no longer with the team. They were on the Cup teams last year. So there are some spots on this Florida team for some of their young guys.
Barkov back-to-back Selke trophies. Another 70 points for him last season. You heard Paul Maurice in the clip we had in our pregame show. He says, well, I mean, there's no other way you can put it. This is a whole of a large.
You can't replace it.
You can't forget about it. You can't replace that.
Yeah, he's a very unique player. Big, heavy guy. Terrific at both ends of the ice. Knows the game. Big-time leader. All that stuff. So he said we all have to chip in. Everybody's got to share the load, but you can't replace him.
Schwinn goes out of the face-off circle, and Skoog is going to come in to face Finley. Finley, whose dad Jeff was a long-time NHL defenseman. At the line, Benning gets that puck to sit down and takes a sharp-angled shot. Johansson was ready for that. Puck is free for Crozier. Crozier gets there, got it through center, poked ahead to Dylan Duke. Duke dumps that one in. Lightning trying to get back to work, but Florida's got it out. Still a tight game here, 1-1. A little over 6 minutes gone here in the second period. First of 3 head-to-head meetings to wrap up the preseason for both of these teams.
Geekie with some good work, not once but twice in front of his net, making sure he's got his man wrapped up.
All the details are watched right now in these games. And whistle. Has the puck knocked away by Pelche, but the Panthers do get it in. Johansson sweeps it away. Flipped up ahead, hops over the blade there of Geekie. He can't take off, and that is blown down.
Well, we mentioned that Andrei Vasilevsky is skating again, but that's really the first times he's been back on the ice coming back from an injury. They expect him to be able to play at the beginning of the year. Jonas Johansson last year had 18 starts. He was 9-6-3, did a really nice job. The year before that, he played 26 games for the Tampa Bay Lightning, so this is his third season. How many games will Vasilevsky play this year? How much will Jonas Johansson play? I would expect that Johansson will be playing more than he did last season. And that's not even because Vasi starting off with a bit of an injury to start things. I just think they're probably going to cut his load back by a couple of games. So we'll see.
That year before that you referenced where he was busier was because obviously Vasilevsky had back surgery, didn't play until late November, and Johansson was really thrown into the deep end of the pool there. Yep. He found out like everybody else that Vasilevsky was going to be unavailable, and he played well out of the gate.
And you know what? It's important too. Both goaltenders like each other, and they get along really well. So there's some chemistry there. Yeah, I've seen it in the past, boy, where goalies work against each other on the same team because they want the net. But these two guys genuinely like each other and pull for each other, and that's certainly a positive too. Atmosphere-wise, it's really important for the team.
Good work by Bjorkstrand down low to get it out of there, but then he turned the puck over and it's sent right back in by Heward. Here's Jack Devine. Devine was the leading scorer in college hockey last season. He's wearing number 38. We saw him at the rookie tournament recently in Wesley Chapel. Heward was another guy that was there as well. Puck got away from him. Carlisle. Oh, he was trying to find Abruzzese with a break pass. Cut off nicely by Devine. Devine drops it off. There's a shot saved by Johansson. And the rebound is cleared wide.
I think that might have hit the handle of the stick on the short side.
That was Ben Steeves. Eves got a good shot away. In comes Livingstone, can't contain. Again, knocked down at center. Lightning scored first on a 5-on-3 power play in the first period, but Florida's tied it, and they've held their own here with an undermanned lineup. A lot of young guys, a lot of inexperienced guys.
Yeah, they fixed some things for sure. Florida's coming with a better attack. They're protecting the puck better, and because of that, they put more pressure on the Lightning for sure. And the Lightning have not handled the puck as well, as you can see right there, coming out of their own zone. Some of their stretch passes that worked pretty well in the first are not working well now. That's been part of the issue.
For those keeping track, Florida is 2-2 in the preseason. The Lightning 4-0. Up through center, Chafee. He'll dump it in and going after it. Being watched by Livingstone. Puck comes loose and Kachuk is up the ice for the Lightning. This one's held to the line, put to open space for Moser. Moser skates it in, shoots into traffic. That was knocked down by Bussey. Schwint knocked off the puck there by Sabourin, but Florida takes off. Here's Benning again, who's pretty adept at getting that puck up the ice. Moser through center, and that missed everybody, so that's going to be an icing call. Well, the countdown to opening night is sponsored by Fidelity Wealth Management. 9 days, Brian, until the Lightning will face the Ottawa Senators at home. We'll have an hour-long pregame show, by the way, that night. Paul Kennedy and the boys working extra hard to tee things up. It's going to be another great, fun, exciting season. Always is with this team. It really always is.
And the boys are in the new studio, which is great to see. It looks terrific.
Yeah, on our new TV home here, Script Sports, including a big hello to the viewers watching here in the Orlando area on Fox 35. This one's up the boards, knocked down by Moser. Moser checked there, and that's going to be a penalty, and in comes Finley to answer for that hit on Moser. McAllister wants no parts of Finley.
Big man there, Finley coming in. Yeah, there was response time right away. McAllister's had a penalty or two in this game already, and we'll see if he's going to get one here. He's headed, yep, he's headed to that side of the ice, all right.
Original time, Florida 76, minor for boarding. 62 gets super roughing, 4-on-4.
So there you go. They even it up after Finley came in and have a talk with McAllister. Wasn't really much, but he is going to get a penalty, and we will take a break. It'll be 4-on-4 when we come back to the Kia Center.
Jack Finley with a good response against Ryan McAllister, and here's why. McAllister is going to hit Moser right there. Moser turns his back, he's going to shoot it, and McAllister had him lined up. When a guy turns his back like that, and watch how he goes into the boards, Moser that is, with the side of his head and his shoulder, that's where you get injuries big time. So Finley came in right away, and McAllister wasn't going to have anything to do with it, but that's when you come in, that's how you come in, and when they both end up with 2 minutes, Finley doesn't take anything extra, so that's how you get it done, folks.
And good to see that Moser's all right. He's got the puck right now. Here's the guy who missed 28 games last season with a lower body injury. Gonzalez tried to feed one up ahead to Geekie, and that was cut off, and now it's controlled by Radish.
76.
Little extra ice, a little more space for everybody now to operate this tie game. Past the midway point of the second period. Comes out in front, Geekie alone, and shoots, scores! Connor Geekie makes it 2-1 Tampa Bay.
Goal scorer. That's a goal scorer. You sense where you're supposed to be. A play that gets broken up and looks like nothing, but he's on the move towards the puck from the slot. Yeah, timing is everything, but he was in the right place. And he gets the puck under control, one look, and finds the back of the net. That's goal scorer. He's always been that. He worked a lot in the offseason on his skating and his conditioning, which is what he had to do from year 1 to now year 2. And he's going to have lots more opportunities like that.
A couple of seasons ago, he was still in junior hockey in the Western League at 43 goals and almost 100 points. And then he made the NHL right out of camp. And he's trying to become a regular again this season. That'll help. 2-1 on the goal by Geekie. Here's Pelche trying to dance his way in. Drops it off. Pelche scores! Great give and go. Crozier laid it right back on his stick, and Pelche taps it home to make it 3-1.
Nice quick strike offense here. And the give and go, that's good hockey. And we've seen a lot of it from the Lightning, how they've moved the puck. There's Pelche, just picks his way through the middle of the ice. But then Crozier's smart enough to know, my guy's got the inside track. Now watch where Pelche is. He's inside his man. Crozier just has to get it there to give him a chance. Pelche decides, okay, I'm not going to handle it. I'm just going to redirect it. The redirection's perfect. And so was the pass.
2 quick goals here by the Lightning. Connor Geekie and then Jacob Pelche, who gets another one here in the preseason for his new team. And it's a 2-goal lead.
The Lightning goal scored by number 14, Connor Geekie.
Now the Panthers come back in there. Pass did not get through to Hovorka. Back up through center. Alsher can't knock it out. Crozier digging for the puck there. Gets a little help from Aberzizi, who comes up with it. Taken over by the Panthers. Skoog is in trouble. He's lost it to Bjorkstrand. Aberzizi now feeds it back to Lilleberg, and he missed him. It was in behind Emil Lilleberg.
Yeah, that was too bad. Lilleberg's a lefty. That pass was for a righty, so it ends up going right out of the zone. But terrific forecheck for the Lightning.
Crozier had a hit there, and now he's bumped by Livingstone right at the Panthers bench. What a nice play by Max Crozier on that last goal there by Pelche.
Classic give and go. It's what you want to see.
Here's Finley. He's under the box. And this one's banked off the boards and down. Crozier had some good offensive numbers last season in Syracuse. He's got that element to his game.
Yeah, he had 9 goals on top of a really good stat line all the way across the board. And Crozier's got good reach. He's like 6'2", 6'3". He plays a lanky game, and reach in this today's game, National Hockey League, playing defense, you want to see that. And Crozier's really coming along.
Crozier and Lilleberg at 11:28.
Steves with a sneaky little shot on Pelche, and then he takes off and snaps a shot just wide. Florida goes back to work on the cycle. Quick wrister. It is blocked. Picked up in the corner. Thrown across. Jack Devine moves in on his backhand, and it is blocked. Florida trying to push back here. This is Benning. Benning's shot. That's blocked. Right in front by Dylan Duke. Crowd likes that. Just off the stick of Johansson into the far corner. Picked up on the far side. Over there by Gregor. Noah Gregor looking for a lane. Trying to shake Duke. Snap one up high along the post. And the net is up high in the moorings there, and they're going to get a whistle here and reset things. Well, the Bolts are back on home ice. Cheer on the Bolts and experience Lightning hockey live this season as they battle teams from across the NHL. Single game tickets are available now at TampaBayLightning.com.
Only 9 teams had 100 points or more last season. Tampa Bay Lightning were one of them. They had 102 points. Florida did not quite get there. They had 98 points. Both teams exactly the same number of wins, though. 47 wins.
Yeah, but they finished 4 points back. And in 3rd place in the Atlantic behind the Lightning. They split the regular season series, Brian. Both teams winning in each other's barn and at home, and it was another good regular season series as well. And as mentioned, this one begins in November and then again a couple of times in December. And of course, 2 more times here in the preseason, Thursday and then Saturday night at Sunrise. As preseason will wrap up, and that is going to be offside at the line. Television timeout, just under 6 minutes to go. The Lightning scored 2 quick ones here in Orlando. Geekie and then Pelche, 3-1. Orlando tonight to the Kia Center, and this game is head-to-head in the preseason. It's been a head-to-head matchup for the last several years in the preseason, and it's a big crowd again here tonight on this weeknight. The crowd is kind of split, Brian. I was surveying during the commercial television timeout. A lot of Lightning fans, fair amount of Panther fans as well, as it should be in this Battle of Florida. 2 good teams. For a long time, it was the Lightning, and obviously things have turned around with the Panthers becoming elite as well, and they're enjoying this one here at the Kia Center. And by the way, the Orlando Solar Bears, who play here, they'll have their home opener on October 17th against the Florida Everblades. That's the other Battle of Florida on the ice in the East Coast League.
This is a really nice building, too.
It really is. Scott Sabourin was trying to see if somebody wanted to go there. We've had 1 fight already in this one. Roman Schmidt and Noah Gregor back in the first period.
Lola whistle.
And there it is, Brian. Florida comes away with the puck out in front of their own net and up the ice is Entwistle. Entwistle has the lone goal. And Sabourin took a healthy run at Entwistle, and he went back and had a word or 2 on that one.
Darren Radish standing up in the neutral zone really well. They're really good use of the stick. Broke that play up before Florida, who looked dangerous coming out of their zone, took care of it right away.
Puck's turned over. Stahoviak drops out to Girgensons, and his shot goes off a leg and out of play. Well, the 25th annual Bolt Run is coming up on Saturday, November 1st at Benchmark International Arena. The Bolt Run is something for everybody in the family with you got a 5K, a 5-mile, and a 1-mile family fun race. All registrants receive a finisher's race medal, an official Bolt Run t-shirt, and a ticket to a select upcoming Lightning game. So visit TampaBayLightning.com/Bolt Run.
I don't know if Paul Kennedy's in that one, but I'm telling you, if he is, don't follow him. The guy is a speedster. He is good in those big runs.
I think you might just sign up now to prove your point.
Good.
Vilmanis got to the puck and dug it out. Vilmanis, who is 21 years of age from Riga. Must be a thrill to be playing a game against Zemgus Girgensons, who's 10 years older and probably, well, not probably, he is a hero, a hockey hero back in Latvia.
What a country that is, boy. You watch the Latvians play in the World Championships, and those people are nuts.
Oh, yeah. Here's Crozier and finds the crossbar. That one comes close. 4 minutes to go, second period. Crozier holds the line and sends it right back in for Abruzzese. Emil Lilleberg looks across. Crozier moves it. That shot knocked down and cleared out by Florida.
Just good, solid puck movement there by the Lightning. Not rushing. You don't have to snap the puck around all the time. If you got time, use it.
Geekie was set up for the one-timer. Didn't really get all of it. And here he is again. Geekie, and a shot is blocked. Great pass out to Connor Geekie. I believe it was Gonzalez.
Yeah, he's made some really good passes in this game. For Geekie, he had his head up, trying to pick his corner, and didn't realize the puck had rolled off his blade a little.
This one's loose down the ice, but it was rolling away from Bjorkstrand. He got there first. Pass got away from Geekie. And he'll dig for that. Taken away by Benning. Benning flips it to space. Here's Schmidt. Schmidt on the ice. Carlisle saw the hit coming there from McAllister. McAllister's not big, but he's been in the middle of a lot of stuff, and now there's a penalty call coming up against Tampa Bay. And here comes the call after the touch-up from Declan Carlisle.
Yeah, that altercation, or the collision, I guess I should say, and then Schmidt got his hands up and his stick up a little bit too high into the face.
Tampa number 76. 2 minutes. Cross-checking.
Yeah, watch this. There's Schmidt. He gets knocked down, and then when he comes right back up at him, yeah, because he's got both hands on the stick, he probably knew right off the bat.
All right. So, Schmidt to the box, and a power play for Florida, trying to get back within one. They've had some power play opportunities in this one, have come up empty so far. Benning chases a lot, lets it go, does not get through, knocked out. And now it is Jack Devine, the 21-year-old. A 7th-round pick, but what a career he had at the University of Denver. And now we get a whistle as somebody was down to the bottom of the pile there. There's a look at Devine.
I think it was Bjorkstrand who was down. No, it was Gergensen. Gergensen will do, I expect, his fair share of penalty killing this year. We saw him doing that last year. He's a feisty guy. He'll play physically. Forecheck guy. Fourth line, penalty kill.
Played every game last season, all 82. Remember, he missed an entire season in his career a few years ago due to injury. Came back from that adversity. Here's Benning again, drops it off. In front, open, it's Studnicka, and he can't get a shot away. Moser was down and blocked the pass. Radish of the boards, not going to get it out. Here's Devine again, coming in off the board, stops up in the corner, then drops it off. Devine backs up, the shot in towards the net. Johansson down, loose puck picked up by Devine. Benning waiting for it, back to Devine, takes the shot into traffic, trying to find a tip in front by Studnicka. Got through him. Good pressure here by Florida, but it's batted down by the Lightning. It's sent down.
Stay under control, especially in the second periods when you're killing a penalty. Good power plays will just run you around if they can. Of course, they're trying to score when they get their first chance, but otherwise you run the defenders into the ditch and you got a chance.
Tkachuk, short-handed, doesn't get a great shot away.
He wants a penalty. He's barking at the referee. He thought he got whacked on the hands there. It's almost like he gave up before he even got a chance at the net.
Hovorka puts this one across, gets it back. Horvath. Gregor, shot stopped and cleared by Tampa Bay. Nikolaj Hovorka now puts the puck back into the line as we're now into the final minute of the second period. 3-1 Tampa Bay. They've scored the only goals of this middle frame. Final minute of the period, sponsored by Anichar and Levine. Chaffee and Moser trying to get a hold of that puck down low. Power play is over. Team's back to even strength, and this one is going to be sent all the way down for an icing call. Stachowiak was trying, but the whistle is blown.
Let's go back to Boris Tkachuk and the chance that he had here. He wanted a penalty right here. He's about ready to pull the trigger, and he gets slapped on the hands. And you can see right away he puts his hands up there. But when he went to fake it there, he also lost control of it a little bit. You see him look around at the referee and go, you know, where's the call in that one? There was none. That was Wilmer Skoog that came back on the play and whacked him in the hand.
Half a minute to go. Schmidt out of the box, off the boards and down. At center, puck picked up by Stachowiak and controlled by Carlisle. And that one is chipped into the Lightning bench. So here's what's coming up in the second intermission, presented by Suncoast Credit Union. We got the big opening night of the Scripps Sports Studio in our new TV home. That's for the road games. Paul Kennedy is no doubt giving everybody a full tour, and he probably brought cookies. And of course, he and the boys will have highlight stats and analysis. Dave Andreychuk and Braden Coburn.
I just hope Paul didn't bake them.
Oh, he always makes a snack run, that guy. Pelche digging for the puck. Jacob Pelche has a goal that's made it 3-1. One of 2 goals that the Lightning scored in this period. Connor Geekie has the other, and then 28 seconds after that one was scored, it was Pelche. So Jonas Johansson and the boys have a 2-goal lead through 40 minutes of play here in Orlando. Preseason action, game number 5 for the Tampa Bay Lightning as they are trying to improve to 5-0 in preseason competition. 3-1. Paul Kennedy and the guys are next. This is Lightning Hockey on Scripps Sports. In that second period, Jacob Pelche, 24 years of age, wearing number 12 in Lightning blue now after playing for the Flames and the Flyers last season, and he wants to carve out a regular spot for himself here this season with the Lightning.
Yeah, he's been a pro for a couple of years now. His best year was his first year pro. He scored 27 goals in the American League as first year pro. Now, the last couple of years, including last year, he got traded. He was a high draft pick by Calgary. So he gets traded from Calgary to Philadelphia. Ends up playing 24 games for Calgary, 25 games for Philadelphia, and then another 20 games in the American League. It's really disruptive for you. You're playing in 3 different teams. You're resetting every time. You're getting traded. You got all these things going on mentally. You're a guy who's still really young and trying to make his mark in the National Hockey League at 24 years old, especially when you know you were a first-round pick. He's had a really good game so far. He's been really noticeable in the training camp, and I'm glad he's been rewarded with that pretty goal there in the last period.
Played on 2 teams in the Quebec Major Junior League in his junior career, was captain on both of them. He also represented Canada at a World Junior and was part of a silver medal winning team. So he's been around, he's got some high-level experience, and he's got a goal here tonight as we are underway here in the 3rd period. Johansson leaves it back of his net, and it's picked up by Max Crozier. These 2 teams will go at it again on Thursday at Benchmark International Arena. And as we pointed out, it's quite likely we'll see a lot more of the regular big guys the next 2 meetings. Long shot, and that hits something in front. Hard off the boards. Bouncer just gets out through center ice. Crozier skates it up, drops it off to Duke, banks it back to Crozier out of the corner, off the stick of Entwistle, and over his own net. Long shot kicked up by Bussy. It was loose for Pelche, and he just couldn't find it in time at the side of the net. Emil Lilleberg. Flipped ahead by Geekie. Little too hard, couldn't catch up to his own chip and chase. This one is batted in by Gonzalez. Halvorka is back for the Panthers. And now it's Devine. Winds up, goes hard to the backhand before he's closed out there by Radish. Knocked down to the points and back into the corner for Moser. J.J. Moser, in his 2nd season with the Tampa Bay Lightning, came over as part of that Mikhail Sergachev trade with Utah. Steve trying to pick his way in, threw it towards the net, knocked down by Radish, and now turned away by Bjorkstrand and company. Long stretch pass, intercepted by Foot. Foot's going to lead this one. Long shot by Vilmanis, and that was handled. Both goalies appear to be going the distance here tonight, Brian. At least it appears that way. Johansson and Bussy.
Yeah, goalies love to be able to do that. Stay in for the whole game, get some rhythm, get some feel to the game. It's one thing to only play half or play 2 periods. The other guy comes in for 1. And there's only so many games, so you can understand from both sides, you know, the management, the coaching staff, they want to be able to see as many guys as possible. But fairness to the goalie, it's really good when they can play the whole game.
Quick shot, side of the net, they score, and that is Ryan McAllister, who has been involved tonight in this game, and he has got them back within 1.
Yeah, there's some good and some bad for McAllister. He's had some penalties. He's been in the middle of a lot of stuff, and that was sort of a broken play a bit coming off the wall, and he's on a bad angle, but he's able to rip this one really quickly. He's the bottom of your screen there. Nice puck control. And then McAllister, who's able to fish that one from behind him. Carlisle just not quite strong enough on his stick there. Carlisle has the right idea. but he can't get it over in time there, and McAllister fools Johansson on the short side there with a quick wrister.
McAllister was undrafted. He was a collegiate player at Western Michigan. And get a load of these numbers here. He had 1 year in the Canadian Junior Hockey League, Tier 2 junior, 139 points in 60 games.
Well, I can see the shot.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
That's a lot of offense. He was the Canadian MVP in Junior A, not just in the league in Alberta.
100 points in any league is big time.
Absolutely. So it's a one-goal game thanks to the goal by McAllister. Picked up back of the net by Sabourin. Sabourin beats the line. Carlisle looks for a lane, gets it through, kicked aside by Bussey. Carlisle and Sabourin chopping it up there, and it ends up in the Florida bench.
Well, backup goaltender tonight who's not playing is Danil Tarasov. They acquired him in June. He played in Columbus before, 20 games last year. So last year for Florida, Bobrovsky went away, and he was the star. He played every playoff game. They had Spencer Knight play 23 games. He's now in Chicago. Vitek Vanacek they got at the trade deadline. He played 7 games and backed up in the playoffs. He's in Utah now. So there's been a changeover in behind Bobrovsky, and right now it's Danil Tarasov who's just waiting in the wings here tonight. And you would think they'd want to get him in a little bit too, although Bob's got to get in there soon.
They've gone through a lot of backups lately in Florida. The year before that, it was Stolars, and he left for Toronto, and he just signed a big deal there in Toronto, actually. So Jonas Johansson, as Brian has pointed out, entering season number 3 as the backup to the Big Cat here in Tampa Bay. And that stability in the tandem is important. Left back in the corner there for Emil Lilleberg. And Lilleberg looks up ice. Weak pass intercepted here by Benning. Benning has got some offensive flair to his game. Got a shot away, saved by Johansson. And Florida gets after the loose puck as they try to tie this game up. Divine all the way around the outside. Brandon Arusu just slaps it in.
That whole situation shouldn't have happened. Lilleberg was coming out of his own end. He looked up the ice and mishandled the puck.
And there's Crozier who gave it up in front of his own net, and this one ends up real sloppy in the high slot, and the Lightning do get it out. Geekie and Studnicka come together.
Yeah, it's a good thing Geekie at the last second had some hockey sense there that somebody was going to crush him, because you can really get whacked along the wall there. He had his head down for a second. There's the pass that Lilleberg tried to make. He didn't realize the puck wasn't on his stick anymore. Now everything's kind of out of control. Johansson can't handle the rebound, and because of that, the Lightning continue to run around inside their own zone. Crozier had a chance to get it out. It gets away from him. So the mishandles in the second half of the game, it started in the second period for the Lightning, has caused them problems.
Face-off win back to Bjorkstrand. Got the shot away. It was blocked, and now it is cleared by Florida. 5 minutes gone, third period. McAllister has scored to make it 3-2. At the near point, Radish, high slot. Geekie dropped this one off. Moser with a toe drag release. Saved by Brandon Bussey. Bussey, who played in Providence last year, was a part of the Bruins organization the last couple of seasons.
Right-handed catcher, you don't see many of those, and sometimes it throws players off when they see a guy who is a right-handed catcher. Their go-to shots in certain scenarios when their head is down. There's a goal scorer right there, and he is tonight. And Geekie, they'll look up and think, okay, I'm going to go low blocker in this shot. And then they look up and you see a right-handed catcher like Bussey and go, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So face off to the right of Bussey, and Wojciech Stachowiak is going to come in and take this. It's been interesting getting to know this young player, number 19. He's had some flashes here the preseason. Has played in the German league the last 5 years after playing at Michigan State.
Stachowiak's made his mark. He's impressive. Like the way he plays. He hunts pucks down. Again, played in the German league, so it's a big difference playing from the big ice surface to the smaller one, and he's handled it really well. He was smart. He came over early, a few weeks early, to reacclimate himself on the small ice surface, having played it in college and played it in 1 year in junior, but still, you got to get that feel back again, and it seems to have it.
Face off in the same spot to the right of the Panthers net. And Florida gets a hold of it and gets it out. Batted down by Roman Schmidt. And Nolan Foote wraps it around. Comes free for Schmidt, being watched there by Chorsky. Chipped into the middle nicely, and now it's a 2-on-1. Off the ice. Stahoviak, pass across, broken up nicely by the sprawling veteran play of Trevor Carrick. Carrick has been around a while. A lot of NHL experience, but he's played a lot of pro hockey, and he broke up that great 2-on-1 rush. Schmidt dumps it in off of the end boards. Here's Carlisle, who stepped up just out of the reach now of Stahoviak. Mitchell Chaffee gave the puck up to Foote, and Florida's got it back. Now they give it right back to Aberzizi. And that shot goes off a stick there. That was Stahoviak again. Is at the end of a long shift here. Crozier dumps it back into the corner. Here's Carrick. Carrick, whose brother Sam plays for the New York Rangers. Loose puck for Crozier. Crozier trying to drop it back across. It's worked back to the line for Girgensons. Sharp backhander. They work it around the outside. Up top to Lilleberg. Across to Girgensons. And his one-timer didn't go. Now Florida trying to break away. Skoog erased by Lilleberg. And back out through center. And it goes off the blade of Hoborka. Picked up, added towards the net. Kicked aside by Johansson. Centering pass. Save by Jonas Johansson. Point blank on McAllister, who got a great chance right in the slot. And it stays a 1-goal lead for the Tampa Bay Lightning, thanks to a real nice save by Jonas Johansson right there.
Crozier, who has skated in a total of 18 regular season games with the Lightning over the past 2 seasons, has added something new to his off-season routine. And now, I think it's become a part of his regular season routine. He tells me for years his parents have been pestering him, asking him to try out a Pilates class. And he said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not doing it. He avoided it, like I said, for years until this summer when he finally cracked. He was home in Calgary. He went to a one-on-one Pilates class, and he said he immediately felt a difference. He said he felt more athletic, he had better core strength, and he thinks that it helped to alleviate some of his injuries. While he's not going to a Pilates studio here in Tampa, he says he has a mat in his hotel room, and he brings it out at least twice a week. Guys?
It's a great way to train. It's very unique. I have not tried it. I should, but probably not anytime soon. But I know, yeah, he has referred to that as being outstanding. I've heard of it before. It's flexibility and core strength for sure, and that's big-time hockey needs there.
Yeah, it's amazing again, you know, how things have changed since he played, and the training methods and the way the guys think about training. It's not just like pump iron in the weight room and get out there and skate hard.
People would be afraid of me in a Pilates class. And rightfully so.
I'm not even going to carry on this conversation any further.
Thank you.
Okay. 11 and a half to go here in the third period. 1-goal game. Here comes Bjorkstrand. He's got one of the goals tonight on the power play. Drops it off. Radish waits. Shoots right on. And Bussey has got that. He holds on to it.
Bjorkstrand, nice backhand pass. Between the stick and the body, good setup. He had his head up. Radish, smart play as well. Looks like he's going to pass it. It wasn't the right play. He realizes it. He's still in the scoring area. And Radish gets another good shot on goal. He's played very well with the puck with a lot of confidence. Radish.
Career high in points for Darren Radish last year. 37 in total. They had 7 guys last season, Brian, that set career highs of some sort.
Yep.
And 7 20 goal scorers, highest scoring team in the NHL. Really, it's nothing new. The great story about the regular season was how they played defensively. Now they cut their goals against way down from the previous season. Here's a wraparound attempt by Gonzalez. He had Geekie in front. That one flipped up and out, and that is going to be a penalty against Florida.
Yeah, it sure is. Sometimes that puck rolls on you a little bit. You get too much air, and that was a divine shot that wasn't so divine.
2 minutes, delay game.
You're under pressure. You scoop it. There's the chance by the Lightning. Devine comes back. He wants to do the right thing. Get it off the glass and out. And it just went sideways on him. Chance for the Lightning to pull ahead here. They're up by 3-2. Going on the power play.
And they have a power play goal back in the first period, scored by Bjorkstrand. Stahoviak on the draw. Abruzzese and Chafee get it off the draw. Carrick trying to ruin those plans, and they do get it out through center ice. Up the ice comes Wojtek Stahoviak. Leaves it for Chafee, and Chafee rims it around. Abruzzese got there. This one's going to go more on the near side, but the only guy there is Carrick, and out it goes. Vilmanis can't control it, and it rolls back to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Dylan Duke just needed to be a little more calm along the wall there. They were in. He went for a play in his mind that he thought he wanted to make. The play wasn't there, rimming it all the way around to the other side, and all he had to do was hold on for a couple of seconds and make a short pass.
Chafee going to rim it around again, waiting for it at Abruzzese to Duke. Up top, and it just got away from Moser, and he's got to retreat. He's got a back-checking Tyler Mott, forcing him back.
Power plays are a lot of preset plays. How you bring the puck up the ice, like they're going to right now. The slingshot or the drop pass, which everybody does now. But then also when you want to pass, like there, how do you enter the zone? But then once you get inside the zone, it's being able to come. The biggest part of entries in the National Hockey League on power plays is the first pass once you're inside the zone.
Bjorkstrand settles it, gets it back to Radish. Gonzalez back to Darren Radish. Geekie is backed up there by Hovorka. And once again, Florida gets the clear. This power play really has not been able to generate much, and it is over as Devine is stepping out of the box right now. So they kill another one off. Stays a 1-goal lead for the Lightning. Up the ice comes Tkachuk. Boris Tkachuk cut off there by Benning. Sabourin came flying in there. This is that line Andreychuk was talking about. Girgensons forces the turnover, carries it in. And they work it back to Emil Lilleberg. Lilleberg sends it right back beneath the goal line. Tkachuk and Sabourin giving chase.
That's a good shift by that line, led by Girgensons. Really good. Play by the clock and the score. You got a 1-goal lead. Be patient. Keep the puck deep in the offensive zone as much and as often as you can.
Sabourin flips it forward for Finley. Jack Finley ended up giving that one away to Studnicka. And Florida looks up ice again. At center, it is Steeves. He made a little inside play up to Devine. Devine gets the shot away. The rebound is flipped up and over the Lightning net.
That's the second time at least where Devine's come in and had some good quick hands there. That was a big save, Johansson.
Knocked down on the line, but it does get out. Bolsher up ahead. Steeves. He saw Schmidt closing on him in a hurry, but he got it deep. Just over 7 minutes to play in regulation. That long pass missed the mark, and then it's going to be icing against Tampa Bay.
That Johansson had to come up with a big save here, close to offside, real close. Good stick there by Schmidt with the long reach. Everybody comes back to the puck. There's the save. It was Devine who got the quick shot. Johansson fights it off and keeps it out.
So the face-off to the left of Jonas Johansson. In comes Stachowiak to take this one against Chorski. And it's pulled back by Stachowiak. Heward went to his left, then it was right, and inside the line now is Foote. Moser. And back down the ice it goes. Icing waved off, so Bussey comes out to play, and look out, gave it away, and he almost handed it right to Abruzzese, but instead Florida through center with some speed. Vilmanis to Foote. Foote stays with it, can't center it cleanly, but it deflects back to the line. Snapshot over the net. Abruzzese and Radish working to get that puck back, and away they go again through center, and it's off the stick of Nick Abruzzese and into the Lightning bench. 6:19 to go here in the third period. Lightning lead by 1 in Orlando. Welcome back to the Kia Center in Orlando. Time for tonight's Suncoast Credit Union leaderboard.
When you play against the Florida Panthers in the regular season, especially last year, you get goal scoring, you get a lot of wins, but you also get a lot of penalties. Penalty minute leaders of Florida Panthers were #1 in the National Hockey League. So when you know you're going to have that, it means your penalty killing better be good. Well, in the playoffs last year, the Florida Panthers 86.4% on the penalty kill. That is a brilliant number, and it was #1 in the playoffs, and was one of the several reasons why they did win the Stanley Cup. If you're going to play tough, you better be able to kill it off, and they proved they could do that.
They certainly did. They proved it against the Lightning as well. The Lightning went 2 for 18 in that first round series. And really snuffed out a lot of momentum along the way, because the Lightning really feed off of that man advantage situation, but this guy and his team did not allow that to happen.
And same thing, they beat Edmonton in the finals too, because Edmonton's penalty kill was not nearly as good as theirs. I think Edmonton's penalty kill was 67% or something, and you got to try to be around 80%. That's kind of a number in the sand, at least for me it is, that you say, okay, we're doing pretty well, and Florida was 85% plus.
Yeah, by the time that final rolled around, Florida had gotten to their game so much that that final really wasn't close at all. Certainly not like the year before against Edmonton that went 7 games.
You gotta be able to play heavy against them, or you gotta have your power play really going. If you think, okay, fine, we'll let them take penalties and we'll beat them on the power play. Yeah, the story is it's easier said than done.
5.5 to go here. Florida with the puck. Working it back and forth. This is Alsher. Alsher almost stripped there by Gonzalez. In fact, he does end up with the puck. And we'll sweep it back for the reset while they change on the fly. Crozier looks up ice. He's got a nice assist tonight on what is right now the go-ahead goal by Pelche. Sabourin at center, lifted in by Girgensons. And their defender lost his footing. It's centered, but nice recovery there by Schwint to come back and take that away. By Schwint up ahead. There's McAllister, who's got the lone goal so far in this third period for the Panthers. Lob down the ice inside the Florida blue line. Carrick back to retrieve it, being watched by Sabourin. Finley. Good stick position there on Devine behind him.
Ooh. That was a yikes for a minute.
Yep. There's been a couple of those in this period. Sent in towards the Bolts net, and Johansson sweeps it aside. Plays it right under the tape of Radish. And Florida sends it back in. Johansson giving some help, directing some traffic. They work the puck near side, off the glass, bounced away from Pelche, and straight to Hovorka. Pelche leaned on him. Penalty call coming up against the Panthers as Finley was tripped.
Yeah, Lightning going to have a chance to build on the lead here. Hovorka going for tripping.
Florida number 96, 2 minutes, trip.
Hovorka to the box, Lightning to the power play when we come back. 3:46 to go.
It's been wonderful.
Hovorka's in the penalty box for tripping. He's in the neutral zone. He's trying to protect the puck. And here comes Pelche. Pelche gives him a whack on the leg, goes down. They wanted a tripping call on Pelche, but Hovorka, as he goes down, ends up pulling the feet out from underneath the Lightning player. So Hovorka's in the penalty box, and the Lightning are back on the power play.
Sean Cooper and Jeff Halpern look on as the power play goes to work. This is going to be Connor Geekie to take this drop. Gonzalez, Pelche, Bjorkstrand, Radish. Face off one, and they get possession beneath the goal line. King of Pelche cuts back. Feeds it to Geekie. On top he goes to Radish. Back to Connor Geekie. In snapshot block. Rebound deflects right to Pelche. Around for Gonzalez. Dug it out for Oliver Bjorkstrand. Pelche. Radish and Geekie go back and forth. Here's Pelche. Bjorkstrand was wide open and just fanned on that one.
He did. You know what set this up, though, is Connor Geekie. Connor Geekie coming up, looping a lefty on the left side, then coming downhill. The first time he shoots, he's a threat. The second time he makes the first pass. So it was set up by him shooting the first time. When you're a lefty on the left side, you're gonna come up and take the shot. Here they are behind the net. They're going to control the puck. And then there's Geekie. He gets back to the point. Now he's going to come downhill. There's that shot. Even though it didn't get through, he wasn't messing around. He was shooting the puck right from the very beginning. And that set up the good play later on.
Florida gets the clear after a good start to this power play for the Lightning. 45 seconds gone in it. And here comes Gage Gonzalez. Fires that puck into the corner. Alsher back for Florida. 3 Lightning players were in there trying to dig it free, including Chafee, who's joined this power play unit. And there's the clear again by the Panthers. Up the ice comes Radish. Radish is going to drop this back.
Yeah, there was some confusion in the Lightning bench about who was going out on this power play.
Chafee had 4 power play goals last season. He gets it inside the line, racing to hold it in there with Stachowiak. And he does with a little help from Duke. Now it's fed down low. Chafee out in front. Oh, nice save by Bussey. Took one away from Abruzzese.
What a terrific pass from Chafee, too. Chafee looked towards the point, but all along he was waiting for Abruzzese going to the net. A misdirection pass with the goalie had it.
Power play is over. Panthers kill it off. It stays a 1-goal game here down the stretch. About a minute and a half to go. Noah Gregor starts to wind it up from his own end. He's through center and now over the blue line. Gregor gets it up ice, dumps it down low. And Stachowiak just flips it out through center. Slam back in. Slowed up a little bit by Johansson. At the near point, skips over the stick of Gregor and back out through center ice. Florida net empty. Extra attacker on. 65 seconds to go here.
And this is the last third of play in the period.
Final minutes here in Orlando. Gregor gives it to Benning. Back up top to Benning. Drives. Knocked down in front. The clearing attempt is blocked by Florida. And this one is going to get out.
That was a good block by Max Crozier in front, but he shouldn't have tried to go up the middle of the ice right away with it. One good play and then one not so good play by Crozier.
Final minute of the period, sponsored by Anajar and Levine. And there's 23 seconds remaining in it now. That's going to miss the empty net for an icing call. 19.4 on the clock.
Let's go back to Chaffee in the offensive zone for a second. There he is down by the net, left side of your screen. Now watch where he's looking. He looked towards the point, but in super slow-mo, you see that he was just waiting for Abruzzese the entire time to get there. There's his eye, see? He's trying to throw the defenseman off and the defenders. The goaltender comes across, makes a heck of a save. Abruzzese makes a good, solid shot. But some good stuff again from Chaffee, trying a little misdirection, and his passes have been very good. His plays coming out of the zone. I mentioned that Chaffee had spent time with Kucherov. He stayed all summer in Tampa Bay, all summer with Killorn and Kucherov, and because of that, he's learned some stuff.
Lightning fans, don't miss a second of the action. For less than $1 a game, subscribe and stream on the Tampa Bay Lightning app to watch every game, every minute, every goal. Stream Lightning hockey anytime, anywhere in the Lightning viewing area. Download the Tampa Bay Lightning app or visit tampabaylightning.com/stream now for more information. Lots of new ways to watch your Lightning this season on Scripps Sports all over the top half of the states and on the app. So here we go. Final flurry here as the Panthers are going to try to tie this up with the extra attacker on. Kachuk in there to take the draw. One sent back to the line for Gregor. Gregor waits, shoots, blocked by Savarin. And it goes off his boot and out. So the faceoff is going to stay inside the line.
Savarin with a nice save there. Comes out, confronts the shooter at the point. Makes a little kick save and a beauty. That was a good one because it prevented the puck from getting to the front of the net. It's a 6-on-5 for Florida. And it's well played.
Here's Bussey looking on, wondering if he's going to play any more here tonight. We'll see. Face-off win there by Finley. Picked up by Gregor. Gregor with some space back towards the net, knocked down by Finley. 5 seconds to go. One more shot, and it is up and into the netting. It shows 1.3 on the clock.
Is that end whistle again with that shot? Oh man, he got something on that. He could really snap the puck. Lightning along the wall there. Finley trying to get it out, but he gets beaten to the puck. So the puck just sits in a good spot there. Entwistle is able to get a handle on it. That was McAllister who made the play against Finley along the wall. Keep the puck in the zone.
So here is the finish. They pull it back, and that is it. That shot would have been late. And the Tampa Bay Lightning hang on to win this one against the Florida Panthers tonight here in Orlando. 3-2 is the final, and the Lightning have improved to 5-0 in the preseason. We're back to wrap things up right after this on Scripps.